Calligraphy is very enjoyable when the ink's flowing well. But what about getting the ink to flow through the pen? Well, the first thing is to make sure that we're writing on a sloping surface. You can see here I've got my board on a slope. That's more comfortable for the scribe because we don't then have to sit hunched over a flat table. We can sit with a straight back and it's much more comfortable to write. But it's also better for the pen because the pen is going to be at a steeper angle in relation to the board than it would be if we were writing on a flat surface, and that's going to be the first thing to help our ink flow. Now I'm going to load my pen. I've fitted my pen with a reservoir and I'm adding ink with a brush. I'm trying to write, but all I can hear is a scratching sound and no ink is coming out. Well, what's going wrong? I know I've put ink in my pen. Perhaps I need to press harder. When I press harder, the scratching sound is still there, and all that happens is I can see the two halves of the nib trying to split apart. Well, to make the nib write properly, we need to make sure that we're squeezing the ink out between those two halves of the nib and then distributing that ink along the length of the chisel edge. And to do that, we need to make a little pressing movement and then move the nib in that direction to distribute the ink along its length. So I'm going to start off with a small little pressing movement just to squeeze that ink out, and then I can see that it's writing, and it will now write in any direction that I want it to. You'll notice that for every mark I make, I just do that little pressing movement ever so slightly again, just to maintain that ink flow. Sometimes, even when the ink is flowing well, I may find that I get a slightly jagged or ragged edge to my stroke. Here it's happening on the left-hand side. That's because I haven't got the full width of the nib in contact with the paper, and I'm pressing more on the right-hand side of the nib than the left. If you notice that that's happening to your writing, it may help to slow down a little bit and watch exactly what's happening to both halves of your nib, and just to check that the left and the right sides are both in contact with the paper. You may need to just very slightly alter your grip position to achieve that.